Picture this. You're sitting alone in your room, phone in hand, scrolling through everyone else's lives, and a quiet voice whispers, "You should be out there. Something's wrong with you." You've been told that being alone is the enemy, the thing to avoid at all costs. The lie you were told about being alone is that it means you're failing at life. But the unfiltered truth nobody posts: solitude isn't the problem. It's the cure. And the real reason you're afraid of it might surprise you. You grew up believing that loneliness is a character flaw. That if you're alone on a Saturday night, it's because you're unwanted, unlovable, behind. But what if that belief was handed to you by a culture that profits from your constant connection? What if the fear of being alone isn't natural, but manufactured? Your ancestors didn't fear solitude. They craved it. They sought out caves, mountaintops, and forests to find themselves because they knew something you've forgotten: in the quiet, your brain does its best work. Here's what science says. When you're alone, your brain's default mode network activates. That's the part responsible for self-reflection, memory consolidation, and creative insight. According to Dr. John Cacioppo, the father of loneliness research, loneliness is a biological signal, like hunger, telling you to seek connection. But solitude? That's different. That's the space where you process your emotions, make sense of your experiences, and build a coherent sense of self. Without it, you fragment. You become a reflection of everyone else's expectations. Dr. Sherry Tuckle found that our constant digital connection is actually making us less capable of being alone and less capable of deep relationships when we do connect. But here's the twist. The real enemy isn't being alone. It's never being alone with yourself. All that scrolling, all that distraction, all that noise you fill your head with, it's a shield. You're running from a discomfort of your own thoughts. And that discomfort, it's not a flaw. It's a doorway. Every time you reach for your phone to avoid the silence, you're turning away from the one person who needs your attention most. You. The unfiltered truth nobody wants to post is that solitude is uncomfortable because it asks you to face yourself. And that's the hardest thing any of us will ever do. Let's look at your modern life. Your feed is filled with people having fun, traveling, succeeding, and you compare. You feel like you're missing out. But here's what nobody tells you. Most of those people are just as terrified of being alone as you are. They're performing, they're posting, they're filling every silence with content because the silence is unbearable. And that's the trap. The more you avoid solitude, the more you lose yourself. You become a curator of a life, not a lived one. You start to believe that your value is measured in likes, comments, and invites. But that's a fantasy. The truth is, the most creative, grounded, resilient people in history, from Einstein to Maya Angelou, cherished their solitude. They built inner worlds so rich that external validation became optional. You can too. Start small. 5 minutes a day without your phone. A walk without a podcast. Just you and your thoughts. Let them be messy. Let them be uncomfortable. Because on the other side of that discomfort is clarity. Purpose. A version of you that isn't defined by who's watching. Here's the takeaway. Being alone isn't a punishment. It's a gift. It's the only place you can meet yourself. Without the world's noise and the unfiltered truth, the person you're supposed to become is waiting for you in the quiet. So tomorrow, when you feel the urge to fill the silence, pause. Ask yourself, what am I avoiding? And then sit in it, just for a moment. That's where the real you lies. So, what will you do with your next moment of solitude?